Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Friday, so that means it's the Dollar Store Stack series. So if you guys are new to this is where I go through some of my favorite cheap stacks on both DraftKings and FanDuel. There's going to be 4 on each site, and I just go through, break down, talk about some different stacks that we could build with cheap quarterbacks, cheap wide receiver options. That allows you to save money and pay up for some premium players elsewhere. For each team I'm mentioning too, I'll mention the quarterback and I'll mention the different options. That does not mean that you have to play the quarterback in every single option I list. You might just play a quarterback and one wide receiver. You might just play the quarterback and the tight end. You might play the quarterback and the pass catching running back if that's the case as well. So just be creative on how you do this. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down in the comments as well. But with that being said, we'll get started on the FanDuel side. And the first one we have is Mr. Mac Jones, rookie quarterback for the New England Patriots. Going against the New York Jets should be a pretty favorable matchup for him. $5,300, looking for about 17, 18 points out of him. And he's averaging about 14 on the season, so you just need a little bit of uptick. But, if he throws for 2 touchdowns at this low price, it's really going to help out your lineup. Then got some pass catching options for Mr. Mac Jones. We got Jacoby Myers, who's infamously not scored a touchdown yet, although he did have one called back last week. He did end up scoring. James Ferentz, however, got called for holding on the play, offensive lineman. Shout out to him. I actually played against him in high school, so fun little story there. And then you also have the 2 tight end options with Hunter Henry at $4,100 and Jonnu Smith at $2,800. So a little bit of options here, a little bit of variety, but probably the 3 top pass catching options for this New England Patriots team. The next up, we got the Washington football team once again, and Taylor Heineke not been the best last couple of weeks, so probably a lot of people not playing him in this matchup. It's a game against the Green Bay Packers that they should be trailing. He's going to have to throw the ball, and there is a chance to put up fantasy points. $5,200, you're looking for 16 points out of him. If you get 17 or more, you're going to be happy. He's averaging 18 on the season, despite the 2 down weeks the past 2 games. Then J.D. McKissic at running back, $5,000. We all know he is that super, super good pass-catching running back. Some people are frustrated. It's because of Antonio Gibson. They want him to be like this big, bold thing and all that. But in a game like this, it's really going to favor J.D. McKissic overall. Terry McLaurin you can look at as well, $6,900. I know it's not a super cheap option, but he's still cheaper than some of the other top wide receivers out there. Still been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury, but it is a good matchup for him as well, as long as he's, 80 to 90% healthy, I would say. Then at the tight end position, we got Ricky Seals-Jones. He is $3,700. You really can't look at the fantasy points per game because he's only been the starter the past 2 weeks, and he's done very well in that role. He's played 99 and 100% of snaps. So there's definitely going to be a lot of opportunity out there for him this week once again. He does have a little bit of questionable tag as well. I believe his was a quad or a calf injury. I can't remember quite off the top of my head, but he should be good to go as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the next one, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. We got Matt Ryan at $5,700. He's outperforming this price tag already. Based on the fantasy points per game that he's had, it's 20 points. He should be priced around $5,900, $6,000. And he's coming in at $5,700, so you're already saving a little bit of money there. The Miami defense has not been good by any means this year. I know they have some good corners. They may or may not play in this game. They both missed last week, so we'll just have to see what ends up happening with that. But Matt Ryan playing pretty well the last couple of games as well. And then you got all these pass-catching options for him. You got Cordero Patterson listed as a running back, also plays wide receiver as well, averaging over 20 points per game. He's at $6,300, so he's actually priced up now, but it's still a relatively okay price, so if you want to go there, I do not have a problem with that. Calvin Ridley at $6,600, I believe, is the cheapest price he's been all season. Definitely a great option there. If he ends up scoring a touchdown, he's going to help put your lineup over the edge. So stacking Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley makes a lot of sense this week. And then also Russell Gage coming back, $4,000, back from his ankle injury, supposedly fully healthy now. See what role he plays in the offense. He's probably going to be a player that a lot of people are not playing, but if you're playing in GPP, he's definitely going to make a great play there. And then last but not least, we got Kyle Pitts. We've seen what he did against the Jets, had a very solid game. $5,900, a little bit of a hefty price tag for a tight end, but you also are paying down for Matt Ryan, so you save a little bit of money there, so you can definitely go there as well. Then last but not least, we're going to go to the Detroit Lions side. And I'm sorry, Nate, if you're watching this. I know you hate Jared Goff right now, but he's $5,000. He's averaging 16.4 points on the season. If you get 16 out of him this week at $5,000, you're going to be pretty happy with that performance. Now, we got DeAndre Swift at $6,000. He's probably pretty fairly priced, but he also has quite a bit of upside. So if he ends up scoring a touchdown, if he gets, 8 to 10 catches, this is a guy that you're going to want in your lineup. I expect him to be pretty popular against the Los Angeles Rams team this week as well. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown, kind of disappointing last week, but he's $4,100. Another guy that's seeing high target volume. If he gets into the end zone, he's going to pay off for this price tag. If he doesn't get in the end zone, probably not going to quite pay off at that price tag unless, he ends up with like 6 catches for 60 yards or something like that. Then last but not least, we got TJ Hawkinson, probably one of my favorite tight end plays this week, $5,100, and he's averaging about 13 points on the season. Ideally, you'd like to see him get 15, 16 points. If you get that out of him this week at tight end, you're going to be very, very happy. It's a great, great matchup for him. Those Rams linebackers are not very good. Unless they're putting Jalen Ramsey or Jordan Fuller on TJ Hawkinson, it's game over. He's going to be a guy that you're going to want in your lineup. But with that being said, these are the $4 store stacks that I do have for the DraftKings side. We'll switch over to FanDuel real quick and talk about the 4 that I have over there as well. So on the FanDuel side, we got Mac Jones once again, $6,800, $300 over the minimum price essentially for a starting quarterback on FanDuel side. Pretty much everything I said before still applies, averaging like 14 points. Ideally, you want to get him closer to 18 on the FanDuel setting. If you get 20 out of him, you're going to be very happy. So you're just looking for those 2 touchdowns. If he gets the 2 touchdowns, he's going to be paying off for you this week. Jacoby Myers, $5,700, a little bit pricier than the FanDuel side, but in the same range of outcomes, considering that you have more money to spend initially on FanDuel as well. Once again, if he scores that touchdown, he's going to help pay off. If he doesn't, probably going to be like a middle-of-the-road performance for him, but definitely a guy that's not going to hurt you overall. Then once again, we got Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, the 2 pass-catching tight ends. Definitely feel comfortable playing either one of them in this matchup. Then we move over to the Washington football team. Once again, Taylor Heineke, $6,900, $400 over that minimum price tag for starting quarterbacks on the FanDuel side. It's pretty much the same thing I said on the DraftKings side. He's played well until the last 2 weeks. Goes in a matchup that he's going to have to throw the ball a bit. There's going to be opportunities for him to score points in this matchup. J.D. McKissick, $5,700. Like I said on the DraftKings side, once again, very good matchup for him. It's going to be a game script that favors him heavily. Then Terry McLaurin, $6,200. Exact same thing I was on the FanDuel side. Price down compared to some of the other top wide receivers. So the ability to pay down for him, kind of take your shot, and then pay up for premium players elsewhere. And then last but not least, we got Ricky Seals-Jones, $5,400. A little bit pricier on the FanDuel side, but he's been pretty consistent since he's taken over as the starter in place of Logan Thomas. Then we got the Miami Dolphins, and as many people know, I do not like Tua. However, the Atlanta defense is not that great. Although I'm going to probably end up streaming the Atlanta defense in a couple of my fantasy football leagues as well. And part of that's because Tua makes turnovers. The Miami Dolphins offensive line isn't the greatest either. So there's opportunities for sacks and everything like that too. But without getting too far off base, Tua in this matchup, there is definitely an opportunity to perform. He's still relatively cheap at $7,100. So if you get 20 points out of him in this matchup, you're going to be pretty happy. If you're getting 20 points out of him, you're going to be wanting one of his main options. So you're going to look at Jalen Waddle, who had a crazy good week last week. I think he's going to be super popular in what should be a good matchup, though. So maybe you pivot off of him, you play Devonta Parker if he ends up playing. $5,600. We've seen him succeed at times. Not always the best with Tua, but he does offer a little bit of upside as well. And then last but not least, Mike Gesicki at $6,000. I think he's priced up just a little bit too much, but when you're looking at everybody kind of flocking to Jalen Waddle, so maybe Mike Gesicki and Tua are the stack that you do want this week. And then last but not least, we have the ultimate contrarian stack. Zach Wilson, $6,400. So like I said, typically starting quarterbacks are around $6,500 or more on the FanDuel side. He's $6,400. Yes, the performance hasn't quite been there. There's been flashes. There's been good. There's been bad. Most notably, the game against the Patriots last time he threw 4 interceptions. So everybody and their mother is going to be like, I'm staying away from that game because it makes sense. Why would you start the guy that threw 4 picks against the team the last time you played him? These are still NFL teams. These are still NFL coordinators. They're going to get better. They're going to figure out what didn't work last time and make changes and try to make things better now. But the reason you play Zach Wilson, this is for GPP only, is nobody else is going to be playing him. If he comes out and he throws 2-3 touchdowns, you're already at a distinct advantage from every other lineup that's out there. His ownership is probably going to be like 1%, if that. And on a 10-game slate, you only have 20 quarterbacks to choose from. So even if you just broke it down perfectly evenly, every quarterback would get 2.5%. Obviously, that's not the case. But when you play a guy like Zach Wilson, there is that high upside. Not the greatest matchup in the world, but it's a play that could set your lineup over the top. So if we're playing him and we're saying he's getting 2 to 3 touchdowns, we probably want to have one of his pass catching options with him as well. So we got Corey Davis and Jamison Crowder. Those would be the two that I'm targeting. Yes, there's Elijah Moore there. He really hasn't shown too much this year, so I'm not going to target him. I do like Jamison Crowder quite a bit in this matchup at $5,800. Going against Jonathan Jones in the slot. Been a little bit banged up, struggled at times this season. Crowder is that steady, consistent slot wide receiver. If it's a game where he gets a lot of targets, he gets into the end zone, he's really going to be paying off. But then there's also Corey Davis, who offers that upside. Big playability, touchdown score. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. However, he's going to have J.C. Jackson on him, who's played relatively well so far this season. He's been shadowing guys, so expect that to be the case with Corey Davis this week as well. But, hey, if you go with the Jet stack, I guarantee nobody else is doing this, or very, very few people at the very least. So if you go with that, if it pays off, your lineup is going straight to the top. But with that being said, these are my $4 store stacks for the FanDuel side and my $8 store stacks overall for the week 7 main slate of NFL DFS. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. And also let me know your favorite stacks and your favorite cheap stacks for week 7 NFL DFS main slate. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers. Helping you with your DFS, whether it's NFL or NBA. Helping you with your fantasy football teams. Talking all the different football news as it does come available. I will be doing a lot of that NFL news, the injury news tomorrow during the starts and sits video. So definitely be sure to check that one out as well. Then if you're into NBA DFS as well, also check out the video I posted earlier today and the daily videos that I post out for NBA DFS as well. And then with that being said, if you are a newer current subscribers yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Tomorrow is Saturday, which means the starts and sits video will be coming out. Very excited for that one once again. Definitely a lot of great games this week. And there's a lot of teams on bye, so start sits is going to be super, super important this week. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.